YouTube? I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Sunset Over Water from Pencil First Games LLC. This is for 1 to 4 players, ages 8 plus. It'll take about 20 minutes to play. And Sunset Over Water is a light filler weight game in which you are going to be going around the countryside painting beautiful pictures so you can turn around and sell those pictures for cash, aka victory points. It is a light filler / gateway-esque family game that has a bite to it. Is that bite good? Is that bite bad? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get in Sunset Over Water. So first and foremost, we're going to handy dandy rule booklet. 12 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples. Very well done. You won't need the last 3 pages because they're how to play the solo variant. And overall, huge thumbs up on the rule booklet. Every question I had was answered in here. Clear, concise. You'll need it once or twice. Never need it again. Big thumbs up on that. So in Sunset Over Water, you are going to be playing as a painter who is lounging around, moving around the countryside and painting these different picturesque views so that you can then sell those paintings to make sweet, sweet cash, which is actually victory points in this game. So you can be taking your dude, moving them around. But the real crux of the game is when you decide to wake up and how many spaces you're going to move and what people want to buy, because people might not want to buy certain pictures at certain times. What am I talking about? Let's go over the components. Let's get into the gameplay. I also want to mention that there is a solo version of the game, which comes with some solo cards, the Ranger Stations, which will do replenish cards around it. I will talk more about that in the pros and cons. I'm going to be showing you how to play the regular 2 to 4 player version of the game. So first we have all the different picturesque landscapes set up. You're going to have them on a 5x5 grid. And each one is going to have different attributes. So this one's going to have water and a sunset and a waterfall. So the 3 symbols in the top left. This one's going to have flowers and the sun. Some will just have water because this is just a picture of water. Each one's going to be different. They are randomly distributed. And we got a big old stack of them right over here. Next, you're going to have your cool looking meeples. And I got to give a shout out to the meeples and also the box insert. The box insert is very well done. It has a place to hold everything. So big thumbs up on the box insert there. Next, you're going to have the commission row up top here, which will have as many cards as there are players plus 1, and then also on the top of here you'll see what's coming up next that people want to buy, so you can kind of plan towards that one. And they're pretty simple, pretty understandable. This person just wants a picture of water, and if you sell that to him, you're going to get 4 victory points. This one wants a picture of a flower, water, and then whatever. We don't really care what else is with there. A bear, honey badger, what have you. Well, it's got to be another symbol, though. And this one wants a sun and something else. You sell that, you get 5 victory points. Pretty straightforward. The other interesting aspect here is there's going to be a daily goal, and there will be a different daily goal each day. And the last person to complete the daily goal is going to get the 2 points. It'll be the last person to end the day in a corner landscape. So end your turn in a corner. This one, be the last person to paint a landscape with exactly 3 features. Be the last person to move diagonally. So they'll have different ones each day. So if you accomplish this task, you immediately take the card, but then if somebody else does it, they take it from you. So there's pros to going early, and there's also big pros to going late as well. So it's a little bit of a delicate balancing act. Next, everybody's going to get their handy-dandy player aid card, which is incredibly useful. Thank you, Dr. Finn, Ito, and I think it's Beth that designed this. Yes, this is a very useful player aid card, and this, honestly, this is all you're going to need to teach the game each and every time, because there's only 3 phases, and the phases are pretty simple. End game scoring. Ugh, love good player aid cards. Just gets me going. Last but not least, you're going to have your deck of mini cards. Everybody's mini cards are going to be the exact same, but you're going to mix them up, and then let's just show you how a turn phase works. So the first thing you're going to do, phase 1, you're going to draw 3 planning cards like so. You're going to decide which one you want to keep, and you're going to put the other 2 on the bottom of your deck. You're going to use each card once, except for 2 cards you won't use because you'll discard them at the end of the game. So what are on the card? So first thing is what time you are going to wake up, and that will dictate turn order. If you wake up early, obviously you'll get to go first. If you wake up late, then you might have to go last. Next, which direction are you going to go? Because in this game, you can't go like, I'm going this way and this way because I got 4 moves. No, you have to go in one specific direction and keep going that way. So this, if I played this card, I'd wake up at 10:45, and then I can move 3 spaces, either that way, that way, that way, that way, but I can't go up or down. And that's one important thing to note, that some of them will be more or less constricting on the direction you can go. Last but not least, how many times you're going to stop and paint pictures, aka how many cards you're going to pick up along the way. So this time I'm in the middle right now, which means the most pictures I could pick up would be a maximum of 2, because the rules are you can only pick up a picture if you cross over it and no one is there. So let's just pretend I went 1, 2. I would only be able to pick up 1 picture. I could pick up this picture because I painted it, but I could not paint the picture the picture that I'm at because I'm here, and I can't do this one because there's 2 players here. Now, interestingly enough, the very first round, the last person to leave the spot, so let's say orange is the last person to leave it, can then paint that picture. So there's definitely some perks to going early and some perks to going late, and that's one of the really interesting aspects of the game, but I'll talk more about that in the pros and cons. So let's just say, let's just do it like this. I select this card, and then since I don't have the other cards set out, we'll pretend that this is a different color, and this guy went this time, and this guy went this time. So let's pretend that this is orange, purple, green. So orange wakes up first at 8:30 a.m. and they get to move 4 spaces. That's a terrible move because you can only move 2 spaces right now. You're so dumb, orange, or whoever this is. And so they are going to go, well, let's take a look at the buy row. What do people want? They really want that water. Is there a water anywhere nearby? Yeah, perfect. So actually, you're a dummy. So this person's just going to go this way. They're going to go 1, 2, and they would get to pick this painting up. They could actually pick up 2, because it says 2 on here, but since they played this card, haha, you don't get to do that, which means now this card is discarded. They could sell stuff, but they can't sell anything right now, but they did end their turn in a corner, so they would take this card, and if no one else takes it, they get it. So they put these in front of him, and then their turn's up. So next we got 10:45. This guy gets to move 3 spaces, keep 2 paintings, and he was actually probably hoping to go last. He's like, 10:45, haha, I'll be last. So he's going to go over here. Boom, boom, and he's going to pick up this water and immediately turn around and sell it. So he's going to get 4 victory points. Good for him. He doesn't have to sell it. He could accumulate these, but he's going to sell it because it's an easy 4 victory points. He puts that in front of him. Good for him, and he discards his water. Now, this does not replenish. This only replenishes during the cleanup phase, so that's yet another advantage of getting up early because you get to sell before the other people. Last but not least, this guy gets up at 11. He slept in, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. He's going to go 2 spaces, and he can only go diagonal. So he'll go 1, 2. He will pick up both of these, and he will snatch that card from this guy. So he's earned 2 points this turn, and he's got 2 paintings as well. So he kind of won that round right there. So all the people would then discard their cards. These are all the same cards, but they still discard them. And you get to what is called the cleanup phase. So during the cleanup phase, you are going to add more stuff. So first you check for game end, which is only when you have 2 cards left in your hand right here. You're going to replenish the landscape cards. So we go fill in all the different spots. And then you're going to deal a new cards out here. So boop, boop, slide this over, flip a new top 1. We have a new daily objective card. And then you're going to rinse, wash, and repeat. So everybody's going to grab their deck of small cards, grab 3, pick 1, put the other 2 on the bottom, reveal, and you're going to do it over and over again. Some other minor ticky-tack rules that I haven't mentioned is that if a landscape spot is gone, so let's say that, I don't know, this guy went right here and took those 2, then that kind of blocks this person to either going up or going down because they can't go to the right and they obviously can't go to the left. And that's an aspect of the game that comes into play more when you get up to 4 players as opposed to 2 and 3 players. Well, obviously, the solo game, no one's going to block you, but you do have to go to the park stations, but I'll talk more about it in the pros and cons. But eventually, once you finish the final round, and there's 6 rounds in the game, you're going to tally up your score. You'll get points for these cards right here. You'll get points for daily objectives you completed. And then also, it's not a great way to score points, but you will get 1 point for every 2 different symbols you have of paintings you haven't used. So let's just say I had this one right here. So these are the 2 that I did not end up selling at the end of the game. I would have 1, 2, 3 different symbols, so I would get 1 point. Whereas if I had, say, 1, 2, 3, 4 different symbols, so I'd get 2 points. Tally up your points. Whoever has the most points will be the winner of Sunset Over Water, and that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alright then, Sunset Over Water from Pencil First Games LLC. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. 1 to 4 players is a good player count, but 2 players versus 4 players are going to give you a different experience. And I'm not saying this necessarily as a con, but something that you should know about the game. 2 players is going to be much more friendly. Oh, we're going around, we're painting pictures, we're doing this, we're doing that. Haha, you woke up late, I woke up early, so I get to go sell my stuff first. And you'll have a couple laughs. 4 players is like, oh man, I really need to be thinking about what time I'm waking up. Especially if you're in a corner or you're near other people. It's like, oh man, I'm in a corner. So I only have 3 directions that I can go. And this card, so this card's completely off. I'm not going to do this card because then it would limit my choices to only going 2 directions. And it definitely becomes slightly thinkier at the higher player counts. It's not an analysis paralysis game by any stretch of the imagination, but it becomes, I don't want to say somewhat more of a mean game, but it is. It's a little bit meaner at the higher player counts than the lower player counts, and you are going to be a little bit more constricted in where you can go and what you can paint, which I'm going to tell you in the pros I like, but it is something that you do need to know about the game. Another con that I have with this game is that if you're not in the market for a family game, or a filler game, or a gateway game, this one's not going to be for you. Just flat out, those are the 3 categories where I would put this game, and if you're not in the market for any of those, despite the fact that I think it's a good game, to a great game, you're going to need to steer clear of it. Any other cons that I have with the game? I'm trying to poke holes in the game, but there's not too many holes in this game. It's light, it's simple, it's somewhat repetitive. You don't have too many choices to make in the game, which will be a turnoff for some people, but honestly, in a 20-minute filler game, you kind of expect that. The first phase is just, hey, here's 3 cards, pick one of those cards, and the third phase is, hey, just put out more cards, so really the meat of the game is in the second phase. But I don't have much. Moving on to the pros, Sunset Over Water has a lot of good stuff going for it, and I think it's a good to great game. So I like this a lot as a family game. I enjoyed it. The kids in my class enjoyed it. It was easy to learn, easy to teach. That's always a good thing. And I would put it in the family game category, and I put it in the gateway game category. I think you could teach this game to just about anybody. If the only thing they've ever played is Clue and Monopoly and poker or something like that, I think you would have no problem teaching this game to people. So that's a good thing right there. Easy to learn, easy to teach, and I think it fits well into those categories. I also think this is a good to great lightweight filler game. I played it on game night. The people I played it with enjoyed it. Said, oh yeah, it was interesting. Despite the fact it's a very simple game, there's interesting choices to be made. And each choice you make is somewhat interesting. Because you need to be looking at everything. You need to be looking at your location. You need to be looking at which directions you're able to go and how many spaces you're going to be able to go. You need to be looking at the art row. And it's like, all right, so there's a mountain out here, so I know that somebody's definitely going to want to get this mountain card over here, and that's right next to me, so I could get it, but I have to get up super early to do it. Also, though, if someone gets it before me, then that kind of cuts off one of the directions that I could possibly go, so I need to have a backup plan in case I don't get to it. But then there's also the daily goals, which I really think is the key thing that brings the whole game together. If they didn't have the daily goals, I don't think I would like this game nearly as much. The daily goals add an extra challenge for you because it's like, all right, I can hit that daily goal. So you know what? I kind of want to wake up at 11:30, 11:45, noon because I'm going to get 2 points for that daily goal, and I can still go this way or this way probably, so I'll still be picking up paintings, which maybe I can use later. I like the fact that you can see what's coming up next, so there's a little bit of forward planning in that aspect of the game. Component-wise, top-notch components. Fantastic box insert, fantastic rule booklet, cool little meeples. They could have just went with crappy little peoples, but these are like these cool little meeples who are laying down. Solo version of the game, I enjoyed the solo version of the game. It's not something I would revisit, but it's a good way to learn the game. And it also has some interesting aspects. I like the park ranger thing and how you're going to be running out of cards and you have to go through the park ranger area. I played it once. I enjoyed it. I would not revisit it because it's the solo game where it's like beat your high score. It's like, okay, I got 24 points. So next time maybe I'll get 26 points. And that's just not the kind of solo game that I really get into. But if that's the kind of solo game that you like, I think the solo game is a good option. So in the end, Sunset Over Water. Produced really well done rule booklet, and I think it's a good game. I think it's a good to great game. I think if you're looking for a filler game, this is definitely one you might want to check out. Family weight game, definitely one you might want to check out. And a gateway game, definitely one you might want to check out. Not to mention, it looks gorgeous. I mean, obviously, it's a game about painting beautiful pictures, so it does look gorgeous. The theme works well with the mechanisms, and in the end, Sunset Over Water is one that I can definitely recommend if you're in the market for one of those 3 types of games. Also, nice small box, so it's not going to take up too much shelf space. Sunset Over Water, one I will be keeping in my classroom to play with kids, and also potentially bringing it home eventually and playing it as a lightweight filler game. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. What is the coolest thing that you've ever painted? For me personally, I am god awful at art. Like, just absolutely atrocious. Like, the 9 and 10 and 11-year-olds in my class make better looking artwork than I do. But I once painted a picture of, what was it? You know what? I once actually painted a picture of Snoopy. And I kind of had Snoopy, I had a Snoopy cutout. I ripped a page out of a Snoopy coloring book and I put it on the paper so I could kind of see the outline of Snoopy. And it actually, so it's kind of like painting by tracing, and it actually turned out pretty stinking well. I only used like 7 colors, which is probably why it turned out well. But that was probably my highlight of my painting career. What's the best thing you've ever painted? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.